It's Friday, March 30th. I'm your host, Sarah Beal. On today's show, we'll talk to some students from the Cape Cod Lighthouse Charter School about their idea to get you to skip the straw. Then we'll talk summer recreation jobs with John Gleason and Tim McGrath. And finally, Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis joins us to talk about rabies clinics and vaccine distribution. But first, let's get a look at today's top headlines. The Barnstable Police Department and Cape Cod Healthcare are hosting a blood drive on Tuesday, April 3rd at the police station located on Finney's Lane. Due to the inclement weather over the past few weeks, there has been a decrease in blood donor turnout to Cape Cod Healthcare blood drives. Some drives were canceled and others saw low turnout due to the weather conditions. All the blood collected at Cape Cod Healthcare blood drives stays here on Cape Cod to provide life-giving support to patients who need it during surgery, trauma, or for chronic conditions. The bloodmobile will be in the parking lot of the police station from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on April 3rd, and all who donate that day will receive a free movie pass. The Massachusetts Department of Transportation will continue roadway improvements for the Route 28 intersection improvements at Burses Way. The next phase of work began Tuesday, March 27th and is scheduled to end Friday, April 6th. The southbound lane of Burses Way will be detoured at the intersection of Route 28 and Burses Way. Traffic will be directed east on Route 28, then directed southwest down Walton Avenue. The end of the detour will occur as traffic migrates back to Burses Way. Traffic to local businesses will be allowed access. The northbound traffic along Burses Way will be minimally impacted. Traffic during construction operations will be delayed, and motorists are advised to seek alternate routes to avoid the construction work. The work hours will be between the hours of 6:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. As always, please slow down and use extreme caution when traveling through the road construction areas and detour routes, and follow posted safety and detour signs. Are you on the Town of Barnstable's reverse 911 system? The Barnstable Police Department has an emergency notification system that was used during the recent winter storms. Code Red is an emergency notification service by which town officials can notify Barnstable residents and businesses by telephone, cell phone, text message, or email about time-sensitive emergency situations or important community alerts. The system is capable of sending messages only to specific neighborhoods or the entire town, and only authorized officials are allowed access to the system. To sign up and find out more information on Code Red, please visit barnstablepolice.com/reverse911.html. The Cape Cod Cooperative Extension has released the 2018 Household Hazardous Waste Collection Schedule. The first collection will take place on April 9th from 9 a.m. to noon at the Barnstable Transfer Station. You must have a Barnstable Recycle sticker in order to participate. Items that may be collected include cleaners and chemicals, gasoline, mercury products, pool chemicals, oil-based paints, polishes and stains, as well as pesticides and lawn chemicals. For more information, please visit loveyourlocalwater.org. Up next, we learn all about Skip the Straw with students from the Cape Cod Lighthouse Charter School.
I'm here with Marianne Agresti and some of the students from the Cape Cod Lighthouse Charter School to talk about Skip the Straw campaign. Now, Marianne, you and Julie Dunnan, the Special Education and Learning Specialist for 8th grade, are involved in this project. Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
That's right. So as an artist and an architect here on the Cape, I'm very much aware of a lot of the issues that we need to address, one of them particularly being the environment. I'm also a parent of a child at the charter school. So each semester, the students get to select a seminar that they want to work on. Every Friday afternoon for an hour and a half, they focus on a topic that they otherwise wouldn't have a chance to research or study in their normal class load. So this semester, we have focused on something called Skip the Straw. The students will tell you more about it, but what's special for me about it is that they have an opportunity to learn that as students, they can actually make a difference.
Hi, my name's Ivy. I am in 6th grade and I live in Brewster.
Hi, my name is Charlotte. I'm in 6th grade and I live in Marston's Mills.
Hi, my name is Chloe. I'm in 6th grade and I live in Harwich.
Hi, my name is Susie. I'm in 7th grade and I live in Provincetown.
Welcome, girls. We're really glad to have you here today.
Thank you for having us.
So let's get started. Ivy, please let us know, what is this all about anyway?
Our project called Skip the Straw aims to reduce or eliminate the use of single-use plastic straws on Cape Cod.
Oh.
This is a part of an international trend, and many groups all over the world are focusing on the same issue. We would like to educate local businesses and get them involved as leaders and partners. We are also trying to create awareness on environmental concerns that affect residents and visitors on Cape Cod.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a big task. Let's back up a little bit. Why straws?
We are doing this because 500 million drinking straws are used in the USA every day.
Did you say 500 million?
Yeah, 500
Wow.
million. That fills 127 school buses. This incredible number doesn't even include drinking straws that are attached to juice boxes and straws handed out in school cafeterias. This is a big deal because the straws do not biodegrade. They never go away, but just turn to dust at best. Plastic dust that pollutes the oceans and that animals consume. Researchers predict that by 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than ocean life.
Wow, that sounds serious. Well, who needs to be involved for this project to succeed?
For this to succeed, we need local businesses to participate in reducing their plastic consumption. They have choices. For example, they can ask customers first if they would like straws or they could provide paper straws. We need to educate the local residents and visitors on how to refuse straws and reduce their use.
Right, so refusing is really key, right? Not just recycling.
We are hoping for this to eventually become a Cape-wide movement, but we are starting with the businesses on Main Street Hyannis. We are starting with the businesses on Main Street Hyannis because it is known as Cape Cod's downtown. We think it'll have a great impact there.
Excellent. So we have a lot on our plate here. What are the next steps? How are you actually going to accomplish this?
We're going to start by visiting Main Street businesses over the next few months. We will be asking them to sign our pledge form, which asks to what level they can commit to skipping the straw. If they commit, we will give them a sticker for their business and materials to educate their customers.
We pledge to only provide straw on customers' request or if straw is wanted or not. Discontinued the purchase and use plastic straws is also a choice. Or you can offer an eco-friendly option such as paper, biodegradable, or reusable straws. Provide information about plastic straws to customers through stickers and website.
Excellent. So that means that we'll be able to educate the business owner and help them educate their customers. So all this sounds important and exciting. Can each of you just tell me what you think is the most important part of this project to you?
I think it's very important to educate businesses and make sure everybody knows what's happening in our world.
For me, this is exciting that this could be the beginning of something that really takes off and impacts all single-use plastics on Cape Cod.
I'm interested on how this impacts animal life in the ocean.
I like how so many more younger people can have an impact on their society.
Well, thank you for introducing us to this project. I'm sure the businesses, when they see you speak about it, will really look forward to having you visit and will join your Skip the Straw campaign. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So I want to thank Chloe, Charlotte, Ivy, and Susie for really making a difference. And how can our viewers get more information? Because I'm sure after hearing all about this project, I know that they're going to want to skip the straw.
Absolutely. So as we said, the students will be individually visiting Main Street businesses to introduce them to the program. And we've just acquired the domain name skipthestrawcapecod.com, which we'll be developing into a website, so they'll be able to get information there as well.
Coming up, Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis, but first we learn about summer recreation jobs with John Gleason and Tim McGrath. John and Tim, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to talk about jobs. And I know that the Youth Commission held their job fair earlier this week, and there was over 130 kids that came, and I know a lot of them came by the Barnstable Recreation booth. So what can you tell me about how well that went?
Yeah, the job fair was great. It was held a couple weeks earlier than last year, so we had all our positions still open. So it was really good to meet with the youth and figure out what the kind of jobs they'd like, and kind of go over things that would fit, their interests. So we passed out flyers to them that would give them the link to the town website so they can apply online. And so far, so good with all the people applying online for all the different positions we have available. So the job fair was great this year, and hopefully we'll get a lot of interest for other positions as well.
Wonderful. What are some of the positions that are open other than lifeguard, because we're going to talk about that in a second. Other than lifeguarding, what are some of the other positions that are open this summer?
Yeah, so at the beaches we have beach supervisors, but those usually go out to returning staff. New staff is gate attendant positions, so that's people that are 18 years or older that have graduated from high school to work at the gate to collect money and check stickers. And then we have the 14 to 17-year-old position that's the beach aide to help pick up trash and clean the bathrooms and those sort of things. Other than that, we have leisure program counselors. We need gymnastics instructors, tennis instructors, arts and crafts, kids to work at the skate park. We have a lot of positions available for the summer, and then of course throughout the whole year. But we kind of highlighted what was happening, during the summer for the job fair.
Are all of these summer positions that are available, are they full-time or any of them part-time?
Yeah, so some of them are like full-time, as they're working close to 40 hours or above. So like the leisure program or a gate attendant. A tennis instructor works a fairly good amount of hours. Other of them are more like part-time, like coming in to teach gymnastics, or to be a beach aide. They work 3 to 4 days a week, so it's 15 to 20 hours. The skate park, you could probably get a decent amount of hours for that, so that could be relatively full-time, 30 to 40 hours a week, depending on how much you want to work. But there's definitely plenty of positions available for a variety of different things. So if anyone's interested, they can go onto the Town of Barnstable Recreation website or the Human Resources website, which ours links to theirs, to all the positions open to the public. And then people can apply online, and it's quick and easy for them to follow along. And then as soon as they apply at our office, we get an email notification that someone has applied for a position that we have posted, and then we can communicate back and forth with them to set up interviews, or if it's a returning staff, to hire them. It's new to us, but so far it's been working well with working with HR and getting these people setting up interviews, and hopefully in the near future getting them their rehire packet or their new hire packet to get them on board to start working for us this spring or summer.
That's wonderful. So now let's turn to lifeguards, because I know that's something that the town is always looking for more lifeguards. You are doing a lifeguard course over April vacation, correct? But it's already full.
Yes, we
which
are.
is amazing.
It's fantastic that it's doubled in size since the class that we ran last year. So we're very fortunate about that. And we have our lifeguard tryouts coming up April 7th and May 5th.
That's great. So if you have previous experience as a lifeguard, or maybe even if you've taken a class somewhere else, you want to get in to one of these lifeguard tryouts in April or May, correct?
Absolutely. That's how we do our hiring. Is that it's in 2 parts. There's a morning session where they do their dry land, their CPR practical, their interviews, the written test, and then we move over to the YMCA where we do a 500-yard swim, do a spinal rescue, and a mock rescue, in addition to a couple other scenarios.
Yeah, it's a really rigorous, I would say, tryout, but it's well worth it. And I think the lifeguards in the town of Barnstable are known for being some of the best on the Cape. So if anybody out there is interested in becoming a lifeguard, whether you've lifeguarded somewhere else, what are some of the requirements to be a lifeguard in the town of Barnstable?
So they need to have their Red Cross lifeguard certification or equivalent, in addition to a waterfront certification. Then after that, we recertify them every year, so they're very fortunate that we're one of the only places that does that handles recertification. So it's very it's a great place to work, in my opinion. That I loved working for the town as a lifeguard.
That's awesome. So if there are people out there that maybe didn't make it in for this first lifeguard class, should they contact you and let you know that they might be interested in case you are able to offer it a second time?
Absolutely. If we find the need that we need more lifeguards as we get closer to the summer, hopefully we'll be able to run another class. So if there's people out there that weren't able to sign up for our class coming up in April vacation, then please get in contact with me, and we'll definitely try to figure something out if we need lifeguards.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much for coming in and talking to us about all these wonderful job openings. I think working for the town is a great place to work, as we can all attest to. Yeah. I think working for the Recreation Division this summer, I think, would be a really great job for any kid in the town of Barnstable to give it a try. I mean, you get to have a lot of fun, you make a lot of friends, and you do a really good job. Every job has its own importance. So there's it's important. It'd be a great place for a first job even.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, some of our positions are a great stepping stone type of position where they get to learn how to work and just work ethic and stuff like that to then carry to other positions that we have, or just other jobs that they might want somewhere else. But we really need to provide all the services, for the people in town and our visitors during the summer months. So we need as many staff as we can get, to keep the beaches clean and safe, and to watch people swimming and stuff like that. So if you're any bit interested in being a lifeguard or working anywhere with us, please give us a call or apply online, because we're always looking for staff, and we need to make sure that we're getting some good staff, and make sure that things are running smoothly for everybody.
Great. Thank you both so much for coming in. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank
My
you.
guests today are John Gleason, the Assistant Recreation Director, and Tim McGrath. He's the Aquatics and Program Coordinator for the town of Barnstable. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us today. It's spring, officially. It might not feel like it outside, but it is spring, supposedly. And that means rabies season is upon us. And there's a couple of different things we want to let our viewers know about. There's a whole bunch of rabies clinics, vaccine clinics coming up. So let's start there. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, here in the town of Barnstable, we've scheduled for Sunday, April 22nd at Barnstable Animal Hospital on Airport Road between 10 o'clock and 1. And they request that all dogs be on leashes and that all cats are in carriers.
And you can come down and you can get your cat or your dog with a rabies shot, and it's a fairly reasonable price for it, correct?
Yes, I believe they're $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all. And you need to, in the town of Barnstable, you need to, all your dogs and your cats need to be vaccinated every year.
That's in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Okay.
And if you have a 3-year vaccination, once you have a 3-year shot, it's always a 3-year shot, even if you missed and you're late. Mm-hmm. And you just have to be able to prove that you've had that vaccination for your animal. Mm-hmm. They will do 3-year shots if you bring a valid rabies certificate with you.
Wonderful. That's important to know.
Yep.
The other thing about rabies that we want to talk about is the rabies vaccine distribution. Now, this is not for dogs and cats. This is a distribution for raccoons and things like that that could become rabid. And the area that's being distributed this year in Barnstable is a little bit smaller.
Yes, we're down to one map. We're going to be hand baiting from Route 149 to Route 6, 6A to the Sandwich Town line. Mm-hmm. So that'll include all the stuff behind the West Barnstable Church, up off of Cedar Street, all up in there will be hand baited. The rationale behind it, of course, is the good news. We haven't had a positive case of rabies in the town of Barnstable since 2013.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So in fact, the last 2 cases were a month apart, almost on the same piece of property, mm-hmm. and it was here in Hyannis off of Gosnell Street. So we've done a fantastic job with the coverage in the years past, and hopefully it'll remain that way. Again, we haven't had a positive case since 2013, and going back further through Provincetown up to, in fact, Barnstable, there's been no cases whatsoever.
Wow.
So the unfortunate thing is we have been observing a rash of distemper in skunks and raccoons. Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the difference between rabies and distemper? What's the difference between that?
Rabies kills, of course,
okay.
And it's transmitted through saliva. Distemper is an airborne, and it is upper respiratory. Be similar to pneumonia like we get.
Okay.
And unfortunate thing is they mirror the same symptoms.
Okay.
So it's very, very difficult. And anything that's neurological, of course, we're going to submit for rabies testing. If there's no human contact, we do that through the Rabies Task Force and the federal people at USG. And if it's human contact, either your pet and or human contact, we'd submit that to the state lab, and we'd have the results for that within a couple of days.
Yeah. It's that time of year when all the animals kind of start coming back out again. So things you want to keep an eye on, things you want to be aware of. With the rabies vaccine distribution, what are some things that people need to be aware of if they come across one of these baits? I mean, they're a pretty good size.
The big thing is to, if your dog happens to pick one up, you want to have glove on and take it out of their mouth, and you want to call the number that's listed on the packet, so that we can know that that's one less bait that wildlife got.
Right.
And you want to take and wash your hands thoroughly. I recommend hot soapy water for 10 to 15 minutes, and that should take care of any kind of exposure. And let me just back up. There has been no exposure where a person has contacted the virus. So that's the good thing.
Right.
And if your dog consumes a couple of them, they're going to probably get a sick stomach, they will regurgitate, and they won't be harmed from it. They'll actually build some immunity with the vaccine.
Okay. So it's not the end of the world if your dog comes trotting out of the woods with one of those in his mouth. It's just get it away from him, wash your hands, make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah. We actually want to keep our dogs on a leash during this time frame. The town of Barnstable, that bait zone area, we're probably going to do either May 7th or 8th. We haven't picked a date yet. It could be that Wednesday. It'd be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And we will obviously post that when the time comes a little closer. We'll do it in that particular area. We'll probably do in about 2.5, 3 hours. Most of those baits will be gone in 2 or 3 days, 4 days. So we shouldn't have a long period of time for individuals that let their dog out the back door to go do their morning thing, and it stays in their yard and comes right back.
Right.
Well, with the bait, they may just venture over because they smell pretty and pretty appetizing and that. So if we keep them on a leash for that time frame, would be much appreciated.
Right. Wonderful. Charlie, is there anything else you want to let our viewers know before I let you go today?
Well, just that it is good news that we're going to be able to expand that bait zone. And we're actually going to be in the Plymouth, Kingston, all the way up to Rochester, Middleborough, Carver, Marion, are all new areas that are going to be baited. So hopefully we can make progress with the disease as we have on the Cape, because the Cape program is actually the national watch one. We were the first, and it's been very, very successful. So it's a good thing that's occurred between many organizations.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear that, while we're getting a smaller area here in Barnstable, that the program is able to extend. And, sometimes you have those things where the animals come from off Cape. They find a way over the bridges or over the canal, and who knows what they're bringing. So the further out that you get those vaccine distribution, I think that's a positive thing. So that's wonderful to hear, Charlie. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay.
I really appreciate it. My guest today is Charlie Lewis. He's an animal control officer here in the town of Barnstable. Now let's take a look at this weekend's community calendar. The Barnstable Recreation Division is hosting their annual extravaganza this Saturday. Come down to the Barnstable Intermediate School with your kids in grades 3 and under to check out this annual tradition. Admission is free. Some games and activities do cost $1, and food is cash only. You can take your own photos with the Easter Bunny and Sidekick Chick. If you have any questions, please call 508-790-6345. Now let's take a look at next week's board, committee, and commission schedule. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back on Monday with an all-new episode of Barnstable Today. On Monday's show, we'll meet the new Barnstable High School baseball coach, Mark Bonavita. Then Paula Hersey talks to Mary Conklin from the Center for Corporate and Professional Education at Cape Cod Community College. And finally, we'll hear all about Pies for Parkinson's with Rose DiGregorio and Joyce Januvis. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Beal.